right, man. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man.
All right. Look, man, ain't no need to waste time or anything like that. Um, we both know what we here for. Um, um, we here to talk about the disrespect that is going on in sports right now, and it's getting kind of out of hand. Man, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to get right into it. Uh, so what do you want to talk about first, man?
All right. If we're not gonna get directly into the disrespect, then I guess we're gonna start off with DeAndre Hopkins. Then
All right, man. We can start out. We can start off there and talk about DeAndre Hopkins for a quick second, before if people going to get in here before people get in here. Anyway, so yeah, man. DeAndre Hopkins signs a 2-year deal, 26 mil, up to 32 with incentives with the Titans. So Sean, what do you how you doing? What's going on, Devon?
yeah. So
What do you want to talk about this? What do you want to say?
uh,
Your
really,
topic.
really just want to get at the fact that he didn't end up where anybody thought he was gonna be. Number one. So number two, for somebody that seemingly had the ability to kind of pick where he was gonna go. I mean, all money aside, obviously, but he could pick anywhere that he wanted to go, and he chose the Titans. Um, clearly, winning is not a priority for him, and clearly, even looking at the amount of money that he took, I would say that he didn't go with the most money that he could make either. So I guess he just found somewhere in between where it was like, hey,
Oh
give me
no,
money.
no. This seems to be the most amount of money he can make.
I I,
Um,
I find
oh,
it
I don't,
I
but
find it hard to believe, and I brought this
15
up.
million, 15 million is a lot of money.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna bring up these contracts while we're talking here. So
There's no need to bring up anybody else's contract because nobody else have anything to do with DeAndre Hopkins.
you
This
you
is
say
about what
you say
DeAndre Hopkins could earn.
you say that, but are you telling me that he can only earn he can only earn what Corey Davis is earning?
I'm not telling you that. The NFL is telling you
The
that.
NFL, that's what you telling me. The NFL is saying that he's barely better than Corey Davis or Cortland Sutton.
Hey, well, the reports that I read, especially there was a report today. Um, I um, I want to cite the source of the person who it was, but yes, Devon has said it specifically right here. He signed after all the money was spent. It like um, this shows um, this shows what happens. Like the Cardinals released him after everybody was already out there. Like they released him late, so he this is the money that he can make at this point because the money was already spent. And and um, secondly, he it's not like he didn't come off a year where he had issues. It's not like he has had a full 16 game season in even the last 3 years. So like um
See, the
so what
only the
so
only
what
thing
are we
that you
talking about here?
the only
It did
thing that you've said so far that makes sense to me, Mark, is he became available after the money was spent.
it,
And
it
I'm
makes
just I'm Hunter Renfro has a better contract, and Hunter Renfro was just as injury prone.
well,
And Hunter Renfro was not the wide receiver that DeAndre Hopkins is. And maybe you say, okay, that's how much the Raiders were willing to pay
Hunter
Hunter
Renfro is
Renfro.
also not 31.
Hunter, okay, that's fair. Hunter Renfro's 28.
He's not 31.
It ain't that.
Like
Tyler Lockett is
he's on the
getting
right
paid.
side of 30.
Tyler Lockett is
Hunter
getting paid
Renfro
way
is on
more
the
than
right
he
side of
is.
30.
Tyler
Huh?
Lockett is getting paid way more than he is. Tyler Lockett is 31.
Tyler Lockett also signed that contract before.
No,
Like
no. that's my point that I'm trying to make is that's the part that makes sense to me, Mark. He signed when the money was gone. That's why his numbers look like the way they do.
But I'm saying if Tyler Lockett was 31 years old, he would not get the contract that he got before. If he signed at 31.
You can okay. Now I believe that to a certain extent. It depends on who it is. Stephon Diggs is 30 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs would get a bigger contract than that right now.
Stephon Diggs also gave you 16-game season recently.
That is true. But that
and Stephon Diggs didn't have a PED.
Well, let me put it this way.
PEDs.
See, okay, now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into the details. You talk about the injuries. You talk about the PED stuff. You talk about him coming out after the money was already spent. Because I think teams would overlook those other two things and still give him more money than he got offered by the Titans. If people have money to spend, but people don't have money to spend anymore, Mark, and that's why he's sitting. I personally think he could probably get $3 to $4 million more a year if he would have been released at the beginning of free agency.
Possibly. I mean, Odell got more, but here's the thing. Like, this was the most he could make because they were saying that the Patriots were willing to match what he was offered from the Titans, but a greater percentage of the money would have been tied to the incentives. And they said not just a greater percentage, but a significant percentage would have been tied to the incentives. They also said the same thing, and they said that would have made it closer to the deal that he was offered from the Kansas City Chiefs. So he was offered a deal from the Chiefs, and it was just tied to a lot of the money was tied to incentives, and the Titans just had the best offer that he could get.
Yeah,
so but he was worried about checks, not rings.
Yeah, and I'm still, and I know I went back and forth with you about that offline, and looking at it obviously with more time, absolutely he's looking for the money. Well, I mean, this with the numbers, it doesn't look like the biggest bag in the world, but it's the biggest bag that he could get at the time, right?
Right.
Timing is everything. Timing is absolutely everything. But this is also
anytime you choose Ryan Tannehill over Patrick Mahomes, you ain't chasing a ring.
Well, this is maybe he's looking at the young quarterback that they got behind Ryan Tannehill.
Oh yeah, you think you think?
I don't know what he's looking at, Mark. I don't know what he's looking at. I don't even think he cares about who the quarterback is. That's me particularly. I don't think he cares. But no, timing is everything, Mark. And this is a timing issue. But this is also what you get when you force your way out of a situation, right?
Troy, what up?
Yeah. So you force your way out of a situation, and this is what you get, right? Because, I mean, everybody knows. Well, not everybody knows, but the Cardinals are like, okay, it's up to us whether we want to release you. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us. You still got a year on your contract. Okay.
But yeah, so he would have been a one. I'm responding to Devon here. He says maybe he just wanted to be the first option. He would have been 1B if he was in Kansas City.
Well, I was just gonna say, where would he go where he would not be the one? There's only a small handful of teams where he would go somewhere where he's not the one. All right, like that has nothing to do with it. Maybe he wants to be the clear and away number one, but that's different. But I don't think I don't know if he cares about that. All I know is he's on the Titans. He's playing for 13 to 16 mil a year, and with that said, he's not looking at any championships from where he's sitting. So. But it's just forcing your way out of Arizona to go to Tennessee doesn't sound sane to me. But it is what it is. Going from Kyler Murray to Ryan Tannehill does not sound sane to me.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's fair.
It's more of the same. You might as well just stay.
Yeah, all right. That's fine.
All right.
That's fair. But we know what it is with DeAndre Hopkins. It's all about the checks. But man, like now we're going to get into a taste of this disrespect. And I'm going to start this disrespect off by saying it is disrespectful to have what Madden did this year is disrespectful. The Madden ratings are out, and they had the ratings out for the wide receiver group. Um, um, the ratings in general, I kind of find AJ Green. I mean, excuse me, AJ Brown being a 91 overall a little disrespectful. But if that's what you say, okay. But what I truly find disrespectful is being Justin Jefferson being a 99 overall. Absolutely disrespectful. I find that disrespectful to every CB that covered him last year because he said 91 makes me not want to buy the game. There should be a lot more reasons why you don't want to buy this game than AJ Brown's rating. There should be reasons such as the fact that they have not held up their end of the bargain in many years. Um, so, but no, um, bro is Justin Jefferson is a 91 overall, and they have him as 99 overall, and I find that a little disrespectful, Sean. I find it disrespectful, especially given the fact that a 99 receiver is basically you saying that they were a perfect receiver, that they are the best that they could possibly be. And I don't find anyone that has been shut down in games being the best. Sean, um, I'm just going to ask you, what do you think the over under is on how many sub 50-yard games Justin Jefferson had last year?
Over under for last year, sub 50. You know what's crazy, Mark? I looked it up yesterday, and I'm probably still gonna guess wrong. I'm gonna say 5.
Five? You would be wrong. You would be wrong. He would be over that number. Um, the number, if you include playoffs, is 7. He had 7 such games. I don't know if you guys can see the numbers on the screen properly. Um, but first game where he had a sub 50-yard game was against the Philadelphia Eagles. He had 12 targets, 6 receptions for 48 yards. In week 3, he had 3 receptions for 14 yards. And in week 10 against Dallas, he had 3 receptions for 33 yards. Week 13, he had 7 receptions for 45 yards. The most disrespectful yardage he has had was 5 targets, 1 reception for 15 yards against Green Bay in week 16. And week 17, 5 targets, 4 receptions for 38 yards. And then their lone playoff game when they lost, he had 7 targets for 47 yards, no touchdowns. Does that sound like a 99 overall receiver to you?
No, it don't sound like a 99 overall receiver to me at all, Mark. And here's the issue, man. Like let's just say forget the stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
People were actively talking, like the media, the fans were actively speaking on some of the games that he got locked up in. Just locked up, like, damn, what happened to Justin Jefferson? He disappeared. It's crazy. So, like, the fans, the media, the stats, everything backs it up to show that he was getting locked up last year in certain parts of the season. And then Madden just apparently, I don't know what kind of algorithm they got, or I don't know if they're using real people to kind of come with the ratings, or I don't know what they're doing, but I can tell you this, Mark. They're not paying attention to the games if he got locked up that many times or he had that many sub 50-yard performances, and this man is a 99 overall. And let's be real. I can't remember the last time a wide receiver was 99, Mark. So he does not need to go in that category, especially when I'm looking at somebody who like a Devontae Adams, who somehow is below him. And Devontae Adams, to me, I don't remember seeing him on the field getting locked up. They only rate one-handed catches. That's funny. Look, man, he has some amazing catches in the season. I agree. He has some great catches. He got locked up, man. You can't get locked up. You know how
AB deserved to be a 99 though. Like AB, like you wasn't stopping AB.
Hey, real quick, AB at that point was at his peak, and he was on pace to actually catch Jerry Rice. At that point, yes, you're a 99. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he was on pace to do that shit without getting locked up, and he was on pace to do that shit without an extra game in the season. So, and like, I'm going to bring it up now. Let's not forget, Justin Jefferson was on pace to hit 2,000 yards. They were talking about him possibly beating the record that Megatron set, and this man got locked up for the last 2 or 3 games of the season.
Last 2 games of the season. Yeah.
The man got locked up, couldn't even hit 2,000. We thought he was going to break the record. That man barely hit 1,800 in a 17-game season.
I mean, to be real, saying barely is crazy.
I'm saying when people think you're going to get 2,100 yards and then you fall short by 300, that is barely getting to 1,800. Okay. Context is everything. Bro. But I mean, no disrespect. He led the league in receiving yards last year. He did. But last season was not his best season.
No,
he had a better season his rookie year.
Yes, and that's my thing. I feel as though as a player he did have a better season his rookie year. Maybe statistically he didn't have a better season, but as a player, when you're watching it on the field, he definitely had a better season. It was far less up and down than this season was.
Well, let me see if I can put it into context. Last year, I would say he even had a better season. I'm looking at yards per game, if I could find that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't really see it here, but he did have more yards per game this year, but he had better. His first 2 seasons, he had more yards per reception. His season last year, he had more touchdowns. You know what I mean? It looks like he had a higher catch percentage. He just last season was better than this year. The only thing he did better this year was he had more yards, but he also had 183 targets this year. So, I mean,
this is added on, but do you think it's disrespectful to put TJ Watt as a 94 and meanwhile you have Nick Bosa as a 98 and Myles Garrett as a 98?
I call it disrespect. TJ Watt, when healthy, has been better than all of those guys. Exactly. I'm a Niners fan. He has been clearly clearing away better than those guys. He missed out on a couple of Defensive Player of the Year awards because of injury.
Actually, and one of them, he just got flat out robbed.
He got robbed, and he still managed to walk away with one the next year. TJ Watt, to me, is who I think is the best pass rusher in the league over the last 5 years in the totality. If you're talking about in totality, last year, obviously Hassan Reddick, but you're talking about in totality over the since he's been in the league, I don't know, man. I feel like he's that guy. And let's just say you deduct points for rating for injury and all this other stuff. There's no way he's a 94, Mark.
Currently, they have him below Michael Parsons. They have him at a 94 overall and Micah Parsons as a 97. I feel as though that's super disrespectful.
That's crazy. They gave him the same rating as Von Miller and Max Crosby.
Like, come on, dog.
And I like those guys, but they're not giving you the output that TJ Watt is giving you. And TJ Watt's doing it against the run and against the pass. So like, I don't know, man. It is disrespectful. 94 for TJ Watt is crazy. Where you at, Devon? I know you.
They list them as, they just have it as edge rushers. They don't have it as a linebacker or anything. Troy, not that I can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, and here's the thing, and mind you, Hassan Reddick was the sack leader last year. And that only warranted him a 90 overall.
I'm about to say, I'm looking at the top 10 list. He's not even on the top 10.
No, he's number 8. He's number 8 in the top 10.
You're talking for pass rushers?
Yes, for edge rushers. They have Joey Bosa they have Joey Bosa over him. Like, how is the sack leader for the year lower than all these guys? Like, come on, man. I feel as though it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. I like their defensive lineup, but nah. Everything else, not really feeling it. But yeah. So I don't know, man. From the ratings so far, I don't have really high hopes for this Madden product. It doesn't seem like they did their research well, but we'll see, man. We'll see. What's your chances of getting Madden this year?
Very slim, man. The fact that they bragged about crossplay and then it's not even launching with crossplay for franchise mode, then what are we talking about?
That's crazy. That's it's not launching for.
That's insanity.
Like, it's crazy that there's not launching with franchise mode. Shit, that's wild. And there's 2 people that was in the league with us, right? Wasn't Troy in the league?
Yeah, he was in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, man. Maybe one day we'll get our Madden League going again.
Look,
one day you'll get your revenge on Sean. You think so? Okay.
Nah, it ain't gonna happen. But I will tell you this, though. You
need to be focused on getting your revenge on me. 65-0 will never change.
Hey, look, I'll tell you this. For those that weren't a part of our league, I can guarantee you, and I say this, I'm a humble person. I say this with the utmost amount of humility. We had the best Madden league, period, ever. That's all I'm going to say. We had the best league. Maybe there's some leagues out there that have better competition, but when it comes to the trash talk, when it comes to the back and forth, the rivalries that we had, us streaming every game, like, I think we had the best league, Mark.
I think we did have the best league. And Devon says, Mark, what about those records I set on you? Okay, Devon, let's just keep it a beam. Nothing will ever beat 65-0. Nothing. Like, it don't matter what you ever did to me. Unless there's a 0 next to it, it won't be better than what I did to you. All right?
That's it. Look, man, all I remember that. Was that when you had the Bengals?
Yes, it was.
That was disgusting, man. I do recall that. Man. Yikes, that's embarrassing. Hey, Petty, look. It sure was embarrassing. It's as embarrassing as you think it sounds, just by the sound of it. It was way more hard. Like I said, we live stream all our games. The home team had to stream. So we're watching the stream, and we watching this dude just get demolished. The entire rest of the league, we got 15 other people in this league, or however many people.
It was like 25. I think we had like 20.
Okay, it's like 25 people in the league. We all sitting there, prime time, 7:00 at night. We sitting there. We done ate dinner. We ain't got nothing else to do but to watch this game, and we watching this dude get murdered. Okay, yeah, it was embarrassing, man. It's hey, I can tell you what, man. People can sit down and you can play against somebody sitting in the living room next to you. You can play online when you don't know who your opponent is. But when y'all know each other and then you got all kind of spectators, you know what I'm saying? The bright lights get you sometimes, though,
Hey,
ask Jerry. Where's Jerry at? I wish he was in here.
You want sometimes, man, you gotta give people the dead body. I was like, hey, I, I turned it. I turned into Doughboy out there. I was like, y'all want to see a dead body?
Yeah, but so how does it even happen? My 8-year-old wouldn't even let that happen. Hey, look, all I'm gonna tell you is, look, we had some dogs, like, but Petty, you gotta understand, this is like we're probably like 3-4 years into our
Like,
franchise.
yeah.
We done had some great drafts. People had already drafted some amazing players. We had accelerated XP so that you actually had enough time to get your players up to a superstar status. It was crazy. Nah, man. I'm not even gonna sit here and say it was the players. He was getting waxed, bro. The players was doing it too, but nah. It was one game, one. Okay, that's we. All right, man. Whatever you want, whatever you got. Look, it sounds like you need to start with Mark first, and then you can come get revenge on me. That's what you need to
Yeah.
do.
One day. Hey, you say you want your revenge of Fight Night champions? Man, I'm retired from Fight Night, baby. I'm retired.
Hey, talk
Fight
about
Night.
that when that new boxing joint dropped.
Yeah, man. Well, it's on PC right now, but yeah, this dude said highest scoring offense every season with a 0 on its record.
Hey, how many chips though? How many chips, dog?
I don't even think did he ever even play in the Super Bowl?
He did, and that's the revenge he's talking about. Remember,
Oh,
because he had the best offense, I had the best defense. I was playing with the Lions,
oh,
and
that was our first year. Was that our first year?
that was the first season. That was the first year and the first season. I ended the Super Bowl with the interception in the end zone. He threw a pick in the end zone, and that's how the game ended. It was like 17-14 or some shit like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I remember. No, he remembers.
Yeah.
Why am I talking about it? You might as well just jump. You got your keyboard in front of you, Devon. Why don't you say what happened?
Oh, you know what? Thanks, Matthew Petty, for bringing that up. Before we get into this running back thing, I did want to talk about this. He brought up the Gator documentary on Netflix, but I wanted to talk about the quarterbacks documentary that's on Netflix. The quarterbacks documentary officially released, and I watched episode 1 and I watched most of episode 2. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Sean, have you seen any of it?
No, which reminds me. Thanks for bringing that up. That'll be on the list of things to do within the next 24 hours for me. I gotta get that taken care of, man.
For those of you that do not know what the quarterbacks documentary is, it is a documentary that follows 3 NFL quarterbacks from last season. The 3 NFL quarterbacks that it followed was Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. And it is real, and it was really intriguing because I've talked about the previews before, but you get to see how 3 different seasons went because you literally got the guy that they followed who won the Super Bowl, the guy who fell short of expectations, and the guy who is struggling to remain relevant in the league. So you have 3 different situations that these quarterbacks are in, and it was great. It's great to watch it so far. One thing that I'm noticing just here, they show Patrick Mahomes and how he prepares and how he practices and everything, and like his week to week. Patrick Mahomes is a lot faster than his run speed is a lot faster than his game run speed. Like if he was to run full speed on the field, you'd probably be impressed. Like,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about him, and because I pay attention to all these things, the numbers and all that. He had the same 40 time as Aaron Rodgers coming out of college. They both had the same 40 time, and Aaron Rodgers at that time was a guy that you had to worry about taking off on you. So, but I think Aaron Rodgers did a lot more of that in and utilize that a lot more and showcase it a lot more within college and in the NFL in his early years than Patrick Mahomes has done so far on both of those levels. So yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think he would surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, like they was showing how like he was just running in like his full speed. I was like, oh that boy. I was like, I knew he was fast, but like I'm like that boy is fast. Like it was impressive to it's impressive to watch, and it's impressive to watch how they prepare and everything. I definitely suggest everyone checks that out. Watch the quarterbacks documentary on Netflix. It's produced by Peyton Manning. Um, and like I said, you follow Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota
Mm-hmm.
through the entirety of the season. So it's pretty awesome. But moving on now, let's get into the meat potatoes of where the disrespect is in this league right now. In the NFL, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley are held without contracts, without long-term contracts this season. Um, Another person that did not receive a long-term contract is Tony Pollard. Last week, we talked to you guys about the state of the RB position. Um, and one such thing that we brought up last week was Dalvin Cook. We brought up how Dalvin Cook is not currently signed and how much Miami actually offered him versus how much he was asking for. Just a quick recap of that. Um, Dalvin Cook was asking for at least 10 million, and from what we are being told by one of our followers, Rob Stevenson, that he was only offered about four. He was offered like somewhere between 4 and 6 mil. Um, so that is well south of what he's asking for, and it's extremely disrespectful to offer him six to offer him $4 6 million, given what he brings to a team and what he has brought to the Vikings thus far.
Yeah.
Um, so at that time, I said that running backs should they need to start making business decisions about what they're going to do. And Derrick Henry just yesterday, given that Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley are without contracts, has said just that. So yeah, Sean, why don't you share your thoughts while I bring this up?
Yeah. So so 10 million, asking for 10 million and only being offered 4 to 6 for somebody like Dalvin Cook is crazy to me. Um, the the biggest issue I see, like, and just for context, Mark, um, a franchise tag right now will get you about 10 million. So right now, Saquon on the franchise tag is set to earn 10 million. So
Yes.
that's just to give you an idea of what 10 million gets you. That puts you at fifth in the league as far as payment goes. So the fact that there's all this money out here, and I'm saying all this money out here because people keep bringing up how these teams don't have any money. Like I get the not having the money for the wide receivers. Wide receivers get paid a lot more. They get paid
Mhm.
twice what running backs get paid. So I get it. But for a running back, you're telling me for the most inexpensive skill position on the field, you're telling me you don't have enough money to pay them a little bit of what they're worth. That's my problem, Mark. That's my take on it. You tell me they're already the least expensive position, and then
Yeah.
you're telling me you can't even give somebody of the likes of Dalvin Cook 8 million. 8 million? Okay, Bell made it.
Well,
You can
listen,
speak. Go ahead.
listen. You said Bell made a business decision, and you see what happened to him. And see, I'm not saying that they should make that type of business decision. Honestly, I'm gonna get a little bit more into it, but I'm saying they should make the type of business decision that Cordero Patterson makes, or that Devo Samuel makes. Like, I don't give a, I don't care what you got me doing. You're not going to list me as a running back. Like, like,
Yeah,
pretty much. I think you're probably going to see running backs start making that type of business decision. Like, you're refusing to be listed as a running back. Like, you
yeah.
go,
People, I don't know. If people realize that Cordero Patterson, when he got drafted in the NFL, he was drafted as a wide receiver. Even when he played running back with Atlanta Falcons prior to that season starting, he was listed on both depth charts. He was listed on the depth chart as the number 3 wide receiver, and then he was also listed in the beginning of the season, because remember, he wasn't even. I can't remember. I don't even think he was in a number 2 spot in the beginning of the season. So he was listed as the number 3 on both depth charts, but he was on both depth charts. He was listed as a wide receiver that is in the rotation. So
yeah, yeah,
oh,
and
you good?
go ahead. What?
Oh, my bad. I just see this. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
I love what
love.
Austin Eckler said. Hey, yeah, I'm going to get into what they said
Yes,
now.
yes.
So here's just to bring up what Troy's talking about. Right here, you can see what Austin Eckler said. It said this is the kind of trash that has artificially devalued one of the most important positions in the game. Everyone knows it's tough to win without a top RB, and yet they act like we are discardable widgets. I support any RB doing whatever it takes to get his bag. Another quote comes from the quote that I was talking about was Derrick Henry. At this point, just take the RB position out the game. Then the ones that want to be great and work as hard as they can, give their all to an organization, just like they don't even matter. I'm just seems like it doesn't even matter. I'm with every RB that's fighting to get what they deserve. Christian McCaffrey, who is currently the highest paid RB in the league at 16 million per year on average. It says this is criminal. Three of the best players in the entire league, regardless of position. Now, the three players that he is talking about Tony Pollard, um, Saquon, and Josh Jacobs. And I don't quite agree with the Tony Pollard situation, given the fact that he's coming off an injury and we don't know what that's going to look like. So him getting a franchise tag makes a lot more sense than Josh Jacobs and Saquon
I
Barkley.
was gonna say they did him a favor by putting him on a franchise tag
Yeah,
while
that
he
was
was
like a
hurt.
lookout, in my
That
opinion.
is a lookout, because what happens with the franchise tag is that whole thing is guaranteed. He's
Right.
injured. If for some reason he has setbacks in his recovery, he's getting that money. Like that was a lookout. That's a different situation.
Yeah, I feel as though that was a lookout. So I'm
And
not. So just so y'all know, I don't agree with everything that these people are saying because I feel like the Tony Pollard situation was the team looking out for him. But Jonathan Taylor goes on to say, if you're good enough, they'll find you. If you work hard enough, you'll succeed. If you succeed, you boost the organization, and then dot dot dot.
that
Basically
is all
saying,
you getting is a dot dot dot. You're not getting
all right,
you're not getting respect for sure. So
all right, I'm gonna give this last quote real quick, and then I'm gonna get into what Matt says. I agree with my running back brothers around the NFL. History will show that you need running backs to win. We set the tone every game and run through walls for our team and lead in many ways. This notion that we deserve less is a joke, and that is very true. Now, to get into what Matthew Perry is saying here, he says pay Barkley 20 million a year, but if he misses a game, he gets dock pay. Got to be on field to get paid. I don't agree with that. Um, I don't agree with that because like that's a slippery slope, and you don't know where that ends. So
Yeah, you don't want it for the league is trying to move away from getting people hurt, right? You tell me that me missing games due to injury is going to dock my pay, then I'm going to go out there and play injured. I'm gonna try to not to show signs of concussion. I'm gonna do whatever I can to stay on the field, and the NFL is trying to move away from that. But more importantly, I disagree with the fact that you pay him $20 million a year. This is my problem. This is what I'm going to say. We just talked about Dalvin Cook getting offered 4.5 to 6 million a year when all he was asking for was 10, which would have put him at 5th in the league. He wasn't asking to be the top paid guy. He was offered 4.5 to 6. You're talking about 20 million. The last time an NFL running back got a contract for $10 million or more was in 2021 with Nick Chubb. They're not even paying running backs $10 million a year. I'm saying there has to be a medium somewhere between 6 million and 10 million.
Right. Or 6 million and 15.
16, somewhere between 6 million and 15, but you can't. I feel like it's disrespectful to offer Dalvin Cook $4.5 to $6 million a year. Like, he has to get paid. And Barkley, I don't think Barkley deserves 20. I say somebody like Barkley, with his injury history, I expect people to offer him somewhere between 10 to 12 million because of his health. But if it wasn't for his health, then I would say yes. Then you talk about offering them like 15 or 16 million. But yeah.
And in my opinion, you can't talk about docking Barkley or paying Barkley less when you gave Daniel Jones $40 million. You can't give Daniel Jones $40 million and then want to pay the guy that actually is the reason why you win games and actually is the reason why you ever have a chance in games 10. You that's too far off. Like that's that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? And then you the fact that you gave Daniel Jones a contract and you didn't want to give the guy that is the reason why you actually win games a contract is crazy to me.
Yeah, so real quick, because I'm gonna keep addressing these comments. If you have sick days at work and you use all your sick days at work, do you still get paid once all your PTO sick pay is gone? The situation is completely different, Matt, because when you got to look at the players, the professional athletes, as contractors, because that's what they are. They're contractors. That's why they get contracts. And as contractors, they have a union, the same way you would have a mechanics union or something like that if you're an auto mechanic or an aircraft mechanic. So as a contractor, in this scenario, because they're getting paid so much, they don't get that PTO, they don't get that stuff. But that's also because even if they don't go to a game, how many times have you seen an injured player and it's like, hey, they're good to go for practice, and then they practice for 3 weeks while recovering from an injury, but still don't play the game? They're still working is the problem that I have with that. They're still rehabbing. They're still doing all these other things, even if they're not playing in the game while they're injured. Okay, their time is still being occupied, and they're still giving you a week's worth of work, right? So that's number one. But number two is this: we're talking about injury, docking pay for injuries for the most injury-prone position. It's not fair if I'm sending you out there to get hurt, and then I'm docking your pay if you do. Like,
I'm gonna address this, and then I'm gonna address what Troy said. Yeah. It says if he isn't fulfilling his contract by being on the field because he is hurt, then what happens? Hey Matt, you work in the mechanics field, correct? If you were to, they can't. This is just basic work stuff. They can't fire you when you got hurt on the job. Like, there's like laws against that. So like there's basic laws against that protect workers from getting fired while on the job. Now the next season, the next season is a different question, but this current season they gotta fit. They're gonna finish that out. You get paid for that.
Okay, yeah. So, but what you're talking about now, you're getting into workman's comp,
Yeah,
short term disability, things that
yeah,
either you have to pay into or the company fronts money for. Yeah, yeah, exactly, right. So, but I'm going to simplify this for you. If a running back gets hurt and they are no longer themselves, what the NFL teams have the right to do? They have the right to cut them,
right.
which they do all the time. And the reason why they're able to do it is because running backs have, out of the skill positions, they have the least amount of guaranteed money. So you might have a running back that's making $8 million a year and he's only guaranteed $2 million a year. Like he's only guaranteed maybe 20% of his contract. They just cut him. The same way you said they're replaceable, financially they're replaceable because it doesn't cost them anything to cut you because they're not paying you anything and they're not guaranteeing you anything. So that's my issue. So like for example, I'm gonna try to rein this in a little bit.
Yeah, because it's
What's
getting
wrong? What's wrong with saying, okay, Dalvin Cook, we don't want to pay you the $10 million you're asking for, or at least we don't want to pay it to you straight up. How about this? We'll offer you $8 million a year, and we'll guarantee you, let's say $8 million a year over 3 years. That's $24 million. Okay, and out of the $24 million, we're going to offer you 12 of that, 50% of your contract guaranteed. And in the first year, we'll give you 6 guaranteed. In the second year, we'll give you 4 guaranteed. In the third year, we'll guarantee 2 of it. Okay. So it scales down. So if they don't like what you're doing after the first year, they cut you the second year. Instead of paying you $8 million, they pay you 6. Right? There's so many ways that they can structure these contracts to get a running back an extra $2 million. And
yeah,
the number one thing that I'm going to bring up is you're telling me you have quarterbacks that are getting paid $50, almost $60 million a year, and you're telling me you can't take $2 million off of that to give to your running back, and then
yeah.
not
Like
even fully guarantee it. Like you
as
telling me you can't do that?
the pay scale keeps going up for quarterbacks, you keep making room to pay your quarterback these flashy contracts, but you're not making room to pay these running backs at all. In fact, you're trying to take money away from them. Now, to get back to what Troy was saying, thank you for bringing it up.
Yep.
It says, is it a way to make their rookie deals shorter so they could get to their next contract sooner? Now, yes, this is what I brought up last week, Troy. If you want to go back to that episode, right around the 50-minute mark is where we get into this conversation in last week's episode. So you can go check that out and see what I said last week. But I brought up the idea of that maybe the rookie contracts for the running backs needs to be a little bit different. Maybe the rookie contracts for the running backs need to be on 3-year terms. So that way the running back can actually make a dollar in the prime of his career. Because if you are a running back, let's look at Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. They both were playing on their rookie contracts. Now, luckily for them, they both were first round picks. Was Josh Jacobs a first round pick?
Yeah, he was
So
the
yeah,
first round pick.
like luckily for them, they was a first round pick, and Saquon was like a top 5 first round pick. So, um, so exactly, Divine. No running back should want to be a first round pick because if you're a
We're
first round
breaking.
pick,
We getting into this. We getting into this. We are. I promise
yeah, because like they were lucky that they were a first round pick because they actually get paid a dollar amount. Like Saquon being a top 5 first round pick guarantees him a specific dollar amount. The same way it does with Bijan Robinson being a top 10 first round pick. But the problem with that is that now you are locked in. You are locked in for at least 5 years because they have your 4-year contract, the player option, and then from the player option they have franchise tag number 1, franchise tag number 2. And then if they really wanted to be crazy, they could do it a third time. It's just no team does it a third time because the number is outlandish.
Yeah.
But um, but essentially, if you are a first round pick in the NFL, you are locked to a team if they really wanted to lock you to them, and you can't and they didn't want you to leave, but you wanted to go. If you are a first round pick, you are locked to that team for 7 years. And for an NFL running back where their career span is about 7 years, you are essentially
for a starting running back,
yeah.
that's good. That's like upper echelon, top 15. That's about your lifespan.
That like you are locked to the team for the entirety of your career. So that's kind of crazy. So things that way that they could change it is by making the contract shorter for running backs, like 3-year rookie deal, and then like 3-year, just give them in 3-year contract spans. Work
Yeah.
it that way. So that way in the prime of their career, in their prime of their physical prowess, they can make a decent enough money, but you're not locked into them to where when they pass their prime, because sometimes these guys can fall off a cliff,
Yeah.
and it could be a steep cliff. Um, that when they pass their prime, you're not stuck paying them all this money, and with no way to move on from them.
Yeah, and this is a thing to me that proposal for the contract, it helps not just the player, it helps the team out. If you're a team, let's say, I got to use this as an example. Let's say you're the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. You draft Trent Richardson, and you draft him in the first round, high, and then now you're locked in to Trent Richardson, and you're watching him play like a guy that should not even be in the league. You're stuck with him as a first round pick. Now you're trying to do all kind of crazy things to shop him. You're gonna eat whatever contract hit, whatever cap hit, or money you got to chunk up, guaranteed money you got to chunk up because you're trying to cut him, or like cutting him really isn't an option because he's a first round pick and his whole entire contract is guaranteed. It's now you're kind of stuck. Now imagine if they sign him to 3 years on a rookie deal. Then at that point, it's no longer we got to figure out a way to get from under this contract. It's dog, we got 3 years to work with you to try to get something out of you. But once that's it, you're done here. You're not going to get a contract from somebody else. You're not, but at the very least, it's fair to the team to where they can get out of that contract quicker. Because like that's just him. That's just the case of him being bad. Sometimes these guys get hurt, like Kenneth Walker in the rookie season for Seattle. So, but at the same time, as a player, they're going to put you on the field. If you're a first round running back, 3-year deal, they're going to have you on the field. You would at least have a fair chance to try to improve yourself worthy, because guess what? That hunger that people say die within the running backs once they get their first contract, once they get that post-rookie contract, I think that changes when you're on a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
as a rookie, and you got to prove that shit as soon as possible. And then if you're going into another 3-year deal, then you still have to prove yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's easier to prove yourself over the span of 5 years, 4 to 5 years, than it is for you to prove yourself over 3. So I think you would get more hunger, better play out of the running back position. And it's a situation to where the running backs get paid and the teams don't get stuck in these contracts.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a better way to go. Is this 3-year deal thing? But when you are literally looking at the rushing leader of the 2022 season and the backbone of a team, and neither of these guys can walk away with a contract with a long-term deal. it's a little crazy. Um, so I don't know, man. I wish some more people. Well, there. I wish the people that were saying that these guys are replaceable were in here right now.
Well,
Um,
Matthew Petty is one of them, so we can delve into that right now.
yeah.
Like,
Because saying like because we had some conversation yesterday when I announced this episode. People in the comments were saying that the running back position, these guys are replaceable. Um, yes, like yes, your journeyman running backs like Miles Sanders and stuff like that. Yes, that's a replaceable product. You and we seen that like when they took Miles Sanders out, Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott seemed to like lose very little steam in that offense, in the Eagles' offense, because that offensive line was had a lot to do with Miles Sanders' success. That's not the case with Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. It's especially not the case with Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's success comes from him because it certainly doesn't come from that offensive line. Um, so um, replacing elite running backs is not the same. You're not going to replace a Saquon Barkley with two guys. Like that's not easily replaceable. You're not going to get the same production from that. Like so we're not talking so when we're having these conversations, we're not talking about um the majority of the field. We are like this conversation is for the elite receivers that
running
work
backs.
their ass off and deserve this money, like
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, like and to a lesser extent, Dalvin Cook.
yeah.
Uh, so we are talking about these gentlemen. We're not talking about those other guys. And someone said yesterday that when's the last time elite running backs were part of a Super Bowl winning team? Right? That was the question, or
Yeah, that
something
was
like
the
that.
question. That came from, I can't remember if that was Matthew Petty as well.
But yeah, I think that was Jury. Um,
That might have
but
been Jory. Yeah.
but yeah, they was asking when was the last time elite running back was a part of a Super Bowl winning team. Um, uh, LeGarrette Blunt. LeGarrette Blunt was actually a part of two Super Bowl winning teams. He was a part of. He was the entire reason the Patriots won. Was that the 2016 Super Bowl?
I don't remember the year, but yeah, that was he was a big part of that last Super Bowl that they
It,
won.
I think he rushed. I think he had 320 attempts or something like that for the Patriots that year. Um, like he was like they basically ran him into the ground, and then but like he did have a contract with them, and then when that contract like his last season, they ran him into the ground, joined the Eagles, and then that very year he was a massive part of why the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So he won back-to-back Super Bowls because and that there you go, elite running back.
Yeah,
Um, Marshawn Lynch, elite running back. He would have had two Super Bowls if they actually gave the running back the ball on the goal line.
yeah,
So
it's true. And then I know maybe it's not everybody's picture of elite, but people forget that Leonard Fournette was an elite running back. He was a top
mhm.
three running back in the league uh, with the Jaguars, and because of his off the field issues, is the only reason why he ended up getting cut, ended up getting picked up by the Bucks for like 3 mil a year, something crazy like that. They gave him some like
They gave
vet
him something
contract.
minimum because he had like you said, he had a bunch of other crap going on with him.
Yeah, and lo and behold, the starting running back that they had for the entire season that Tom Brady was there, he was messing up, fumbling, doing all kind of nonsense. They bring Leonard Fournette into the fold, and lo and behold, all of a sudden they start winning all their games in the second half of the season, and then they completely put him in as the starter in the playoffs. And look at that, they went on a run, man. Like it's not an accident. They had a better running back in there, somebody that you had to respect enough to say, look, we can't drop back into coverage because we're playing Tom Brady. Like,
right.
Like Tom Brady was throwing picks in the beginning of the season as well. He was throwing a lot. So like, no, that matters. These are recent years that we're talking about. So that the question about recency of running backs is crazy. So
I would like to bring up some more running back things. Here goes another one. Sean, this is going to hurt your feelings.
God damn it.
Chiefs San Francisco Super Bowl. San Francisco was whooping the Chiefs' ass when they were running the ball. When they were running the ball to the outside, they were whooping the Chiefs' ass. The Chiefs had no answer for them while they were running the ball to the outside. They got cute and stopped running the ball to the outside and started passing a little bit more. So then they stopped scoring, and the Chiefs started utilizing their running back. And that's when they found themselves more of a rhythm. And that's when they came back to defeat the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl, because they started to utilize their running back, and the 49ers stopped utilizing theirs. Did I get that correct, Sean?
I mean, he ain't got to put all the emphasis on all that other shit, but yeah, you got it right. But let me add to that. We played the Green Bay Packers and we threw the ball 8 times. Raheem Mostert had 200 something like 210 yards or something like that. He didn't even play the full game, Mark. Okay, that's it. We won that game purely off the back of our elite running back. And I'll say, and I'm sure maybe Matt can attest to this, we haven't had that level of explosiveness at the running back position since like the injuries, him moving on to play with Miami. We haven't been able to replace that thing that he did well. Granted, it's a reason why we stopped saying, we're just going to keep getting these guys and trying to make them work. The Niners, the team that many believe have the best running scheme, the best running, the best running scheme, like the best running system to where you could kind of plug and play. If anybody is replaceable at the running back position, it should be in San Francisco, but yet and still we will.
Your mic went out. I don't know what happened. But yeah. So what he was saying was, I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Oh yeah. What I was saying is we still went out of our way to go get Christian McCaffrey in the most plug and play running back situation.
Yeah.
So if we're chasing guys like Christian McCaffrey, then it says to me that not all of these running backs are replaceable, and there's nothing that you can do to replace an elite running back. There's nothing that you can do to replace him.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, I'm not even saying pay the elite guys 15 to 20 mil. Just give them 10.
Yeah, give them
like give them 8 to 10. Like it's crazy, man. I don't know what's going on here in Mark. I know you said people are going to start making business decisions. I agree with you. If you're a 6 foot, 220 pound freak athlete and you have the ability to play whatever position you want professionally, would you choose to be a running back or would you choose to be a safety? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you have the skill sets, if you're a parent, let's say you're a parent, Mark, we're both parents. I'm not, if my son eventually becomes an elite athlete, I'm not telling him to play running back.
Right.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no point. It's not worth it. I just feel like eventually that's them deciding not to pay running backs ever and deciding to make it the most replaceable or most dispensable position in the NFL is going to lead to the talented players not choosing to play that position at the lower levels. And that's going to trickle into the NFL to where basically you're not going to have the high level of talent at the running back position the way they used to. That's just what I feel. I mean, that's what I see coming down the pipeline. If you're not paying the running backs at all, I'm just gonna go do something else.
Yeah, I feel you. So um, yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. I do. This is, I believe, it's your topic. I don't know what you wanted to talk
Oh,
about here.
a little hyperbole, but since I'm bringing that up, it's the NFLPA. All this negotiating that they do that keeps digging the players into a deeper hole. But for some reason, the only people that seem to benefit from these deals that the NFLPA is comes out of there with are the quarterbacks, Mark. And at this point, I think they've dug themselves enough of a hole to where trying to get everybody on the same page to fight for each other's rights. There's only one way that would happen. Thank you. It is. Yeah. So, but the only way this will happen is if everybody, every other position decides they're going to essentially turn in on themselves against the quarterbacks. That's the only way I can see this changing. But I brought up the NFLPA thing to say this. At the running back position, I think it's dire enough to where they need to operate outside of the NFLPA if they can. If all running backs sat down,
yeah,
if all the starting, I'm not expecting the bench guys to do that. If all the starting running backs sat down, since they're replaceable, I would want to see what would happen then. But I think it's going to take a move like that for this situation with the running backs not getting paid to be changed. And right now, it's starting to brew because you see all the top level running backs. These guys are already paid. Derrick Henry got paid. Austin Eckler is paid. Christian McCaffrey is paid, and they're speaking up at this point in defense of the running back position. So, but yeah, they'll just call the XFL for backs. Look, man, you replace Austin Eckler with an XFL running back, and you tell me how that goes. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say that because the NFLPA at this point is not your friend if you're a running back. It's not your friend if you're outside of the quarterback position.
I do think that may end up happening. That we may end up seeing running backs taking a strike separate from the rest of the players association. We might end up seeing it because right now, like I said, this is clear collusion against the running back position. I said that last week, and I'm saying it now. Like, what's happening is clear collusion against paying the running back position. So the running back position is going to have to stand up for themselves because ain't nobody else is going to stand up for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I hope that we get to see that because the last thing I want to see is my favorite position in the NFL to become a dying position.
Hey, last thing I want to see in the NFL is a game entirely where it's just nothing but passes. I brought this up to you off air, Sean, but Troy, you watch every Eagles game just like I do. 2021, we watched 6 straight games of nothing but passes, where the Eagles just did nothing but passes, and it was a horrible product. It was a horrible product to watch. It was awful. Even when they was driving the field, it was awful and boring just to watch a team just pass, 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 pass with no running plays whatsoever.
Mhm.
Um, so the fact the people saying that passing plays are exciting and all that, that's true to an extent, but running plays can be exciting too. And it makes for a good product to watch a team successfully run.
Yeah,
So
it's to me the running back position has always been the most exciting thing about the offense. You go back to people watching the sorry ass the Detroit Lions every Thanksgiving just to watch Barry Sanders run the ball.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I let's be honest. We don't tune in to watch Titans games for Ryan Tannehill. All right, so
absolutely not.
we there to watch we there to watch Derrick Henry do what he does. Everybody watched AP run. Everybody watched LT games. Everybody watched these guys because it's exciting. It's a difficult thing to do what they do, man. Not
The
everybody can
best
do
the best highlights in the NFL usually come from somebody running.
it, even if
Like
it's after the catch. Yeah,
yeah, and the best highlights usually come from somebody running.
yeah. Debo
It doesn't
Samuel.
come from
Yeah, Debo Samuel has the popularity he has not because of what he does leading up to the catch or while he's catching. No.
right.
So yes.
All right. So moving on, I want to get into something that's frustrates me. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid frustrates me. Um, this dude is immature. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna play the video for you guys, and then you guys can. Then I'll get into my little soliloquy about this.
Good break, but what can we look forward from Joel Embiid? I just want to win a championship. Whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's Philly or anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about the next one. It's not easy, but it takes more than one, 2 3 guys. Gotta have good people around you, and like myself, every single day I work hard to be at that level, so I can produce and make it happen. So every single day that's working towards that. Good break, but what can we look forward from Joel?
All right.
Every single day I work hard to play to be on that level, Mark. Me as an innocent bystander just looking in on the Philly situation, that put a smile that put a smile on my face for all the wrong reasons. I had to chuckle. I was like, he can't possibly be serious when he's saying that. He can't possibly believe that he's working hard every day, Mark.
All right. So listen, I want to address this in two ways. I want to address the fans, and my thing for fans of Embiid is going to be fairly quick. So everybody knows that I'm not a fan of the Sixers, and for a long time I really didn't like Embiid at all. Um, I brought up flaws that Embiid had about his game. I brought up about his game, his maturity level, all that stuff. And people were like, "You're crazy. He's the best center in the league. Nobody's better. Embiid did this, Embiid that, blah 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 blah." Embiid made that comment yesterday. People should just go look at some of the comments under what some people are saying now. Same people that was like, "You're crazy," are now like, "Man, you're not even the best center in the league. What are you talking about?" Like, and they bringing up his flaws, bringing up the fact that game 6 and 7, he was a no-show and everything and all that. They're bringing up all these things all of a sudden. All of a sudden, these people can see these flaws that he's always had. Now, I find that interesting, but I'm gonna leave that there for the fans. I just wanted to bring that up to you real quick. But to address Joel Embiid in this comment, yeah, you said it. You said you just want a chance to win. Okay, you had a chance to win last year. You had a chance to win last year. It was there. You had James. there was 2 MVPs on your team. You said it doesn't take one guy, it takes more than one. Doesn't take. You had 2 MVPs on your team. You had James Harden and yourself. You won that very year. You won last year. So yeah, man. How many MVPs does it take on a team to win a championship? I don't think it shouldn't take 3. It shouldn't take more than 2.
Real quick, I don't like interrupting you when you're on your rants, but I just want you to speak to the supporting cast since he's talking about everybody getting involved. He had one of the best supporting casts in the league.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. He did have one of the best supporting casts. So in that game that we're talking about, where the Sixers versus Boston. I'm gonna just pull it up real quick.
All right.
But yeah, so you had all these chances. Everything that you could have did went out the window, right? You played like shit. You played awful. You're the MVP of this team. You won the MVP. So essentially, they didn't lose because you dropped 40. Like the way he was talking just now was as if he dropped 40 points and they lost. Like, no, they didn't drop. That's not what happened. You played like shit and you lost. So hold on, I gotta find the stats here.
I'll good get into this, man. Like, I just find it interesting that he ducked playing Jokic in the regular season in Denver. The man was hurt. He was talking about not playing. He wins the MVP and immediately says, "Maybe I'll be back sooner than you think." Then he gets in there. He's playing. We watched during one of the games. What's his name? You got I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but you have what's his name on the bench yelling at you because you're saying you're tired, and he has to tell you to suck it up. You got a role player telling you to suck it up. It's the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, as an MVP, right? I feel like that was support right there. I feel like that was more than one guy trying to help you get it done, So, and then we watched James Harden win 2 games. We watched James Harden win 2 games for you. I just don't know how much more help you would expect, or how much more help do you want, man? Like, and then you're on there not saying, give me somebody else here. You're saying, well, it might be Philly, it might not. So now you just running away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's running away from his issues, running away from his problems. You know what? Okay, here we go. It says, from his antics on the court to his interview, he's never going to mature enough to win a championship. And that's my issue. He's never going to mature enough to win a championship. This dude literally is deflecting from the fact that he was awful. In the closing quarter of Game 6, he did not step up because they were winning Game 6. They were winning Game 6 by a large margin. And in the closing quarter, he did not step up. Him and James Harden ran out of gas essentially, and they was like, "Well, we'll get him next time." Well, you didn't get him in Game 7. You play like trash in Game 7, and instead of looking in the mirror and saying, "I need to be better so that I can win the championship," you said, "I need more guys here. I need more people." Because I can't do it by myself.
He didn't even say I need more people here. He said it might not be Philly, Mark.
Yeah. As if he's putting it all out on the line. As if as if somewhere he's the person that's doing everything that he possibly can to get the job done. When we all know that's not the case. So I don't understand
I was,
what good.
I was gonna say, did you? I mean, because Embiid had a response to the people calling him out. I mean, do you want to talk about that?
Oh
Since
yeah.
we're bringing up since we're on the topic of maturity.
Yeah, we could certainly talk about the fact that he goes from saying, "Oh yeah, man, you know what my name is? I'm Troel Embiid." Uh, like so instead of just owning what he said, he now is talking about, oh, he was just trolling. Instead of owning like his words and talking about it, he's going to sit there and say, "Oh man, I was just trolling. I wasn't I wasn't talking crazy or nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I was just playing around." Nah, that wasn't for play. Now now this is what I wanted to bring up. I brought up game 7. I brought up game 7 of the Boston series in round 2.
So this win or go home.
This is win or go home. Joel Embiid, 5 for 18, 0 for 4 from 3, 5 for 6 from free throws. He had 15 points. You know how he said he needs help? Interesting. Can't be just one or two guys. Interesting. Your third and fourth option scored more than you did. Your third and fourth option scored more than you did.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris had 19. Tyrese Maxey has 17. These are supposed to be the third and fourth options on the team, and they had more points than the first and second option, both of whom are MVPs. James Harden being the former MVP, you being the current MVP.
See, and that's my thing. I don't want to hear people blame James Harden because you have the current MVP who not only was he the current MVP, this was like a very difficult MVP to win with the way the Jokic was playing this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
You're the MVP. This wasn't no gimme or like this wasn't no landslide victory. Like this shit was a tight race. And then, like on top of that, you said third and fourth option. I want to point out that PJ Tucker was playing so non-existent for the entirety of this series. And then he shows up in game 7. He gives you 11 points. He gives you a fishing shooting night. He shot more than 50%. He went 50% from 3. And what do you do with that? You contribute 15 points, okay? I don't know what you want, man. If you Joel Embiid score 35 points in this scenario, and then you're looking at James Harden with his 9 points, and then I can be like, okay, man, I can see, man, you dropped 35 and 15. You know what I'm saying? You got 3 blocks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need some help. No, you need help personally. Yes. Like with your game, you need to
you need help understanding what an MVP actually is supposed to be.
Yeah.
MVP, like when they sit here and say MVP of the league, that means the team comes and goes with you. That means the team has no business winning if you play horrible, because you are the most valuable player to the team. That means what your performance dictates whether or not this team wins. Otherwise, if this team can win with you playing horribly, baby, you not the most valuable thing to that team. Like that's just the basic fact.
Yeah.
If a team can win with you playing like trash, you're not the most valuable thing there. And clearly, you are showing that you are the most valuable thing there because they lost and you play like trash. So you need to look in the mirror and say, I need to be better because you cannot escape you. No matter where you go, there you are. And so, no matter where you go, until you mature and realize what the issue is, ain't, there's no championship here, and ain't no championship elsewhere.
This is the first time I've just thought about something, man. This is the first time I've seen an MVP right after, like during their MVP crown, suggest that they should play for a different team because the guys around them ain't getting it done. This is the first time I've ever seen it, Mark. I really tried. While you was talking just now, I was really thinking about it, and I was like, man, when has an MVP ever like not say, let's run that shit back? You know what I'm saying? When has an MVP ever like went outside of, you know, I'll find a way to get it done. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're the most valuable player. Like, and if you won MVP of the league, you're not just the MVP of your team. You're the most valuable MVP. Like team,
Right.
like every team has their most valuable player, but you're the most valuable out of them, out of all of them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And for you, what value do you have if you're not even going to ride with your team, man? Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like if I'm the Sixers organization, I have to say, look, trolling or not, dog, we got to move on from you at this point.
Well, they're not going to do that because they're not going to get what he's worth. But
Hey, we've played this game before. You're better off just getting rid of him, i.e., Ben Simmons. You just better off. I don't care if you don't get what he's worth. Just get rid of him, dog. Just get rid. We played this game, man. The process has played out, Mark. It has played itself out, and it's time to move on.
well, I'm gonna tell you this: Sixers fans, they're not going to like that.
That
Um,
that they don't have to like it, but then you know
they,
what
they're
else they're
not
not
they're
gonna like?
not going to like that because with him came promise of something, and now
Well,
like essentially the Sixers fans are currently wrapping their head around the fact that they ain't going nowhere. It's not going to happen.
like I wanted to be very clear. They can't even make it to a conference finals. Like I'm I'm just saying you can say they're not going to like it, but guess what else they're not going to like? They're not going to enjoy watching their team get trounced in a game 7 while their star player MVP of the league is scoring 15 points. They're not going to like that either, Mark. So, but it's going to be there's going to be a consistent theme, man. What do they say? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? In Embiid has shown you who he was and who he is time and time again. And it shouldn't take for him to make these comments for those fans to be like, oh, you know what, man? Well, he didn't show up in the playoffs. Well, you know what, man? He don't do this. He don't do that. Like, no, he's been the same person this whole time, man.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. I think that's good enough for this
Mm-hmm.
episode. Like I said, the disrespect is real out here. You got Joel Embiid disrespecting himself and his fan base for thinking they stupid and they wasn't watching these games. And you got the NFL disrespecting these running backs and how elite and how important they are. And then you just and then also you got Madden disrespecting our eyes and disrespecting these players with their ratings. So
Yeah. Disrespect. They're disrespecting the 99 overall rating in itself.
right.
That's supposed to be hallowed ground, man.
But hey, man, it was a great episode. Great engaging with you guys. Link, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Um, yeah, gonna call it a night. Thank you.
Till next
Peace.
time.